backed by popular demand, is the Tim Hortons Coffee Cup Challenge. That's right, it proved exciting once before, and we're off to the races once again. I've filled up the cylinders actually to the bottom of the compression ring line, so they're all equal. The pistons are equal heights. So we're going to leave this for a little while and see what happens. But I'll tell you something, I've noticed that even whilst I've been setting my camera up, this number 2 has been going down. Now it is, what time is it there? 2 minutes to 10. Oh, it's not looking good. Dear me. Dear me. Do you know something? I was looking at this engine. There must have been terrific blow-by into the crankcases. You know, I'm looking over there at the air intake hose. It's absolutely blathered with oil. And I'm not so sure what's going on with the turbo pipe. You know, they're like the intercooler. That looks full of oil. I'm not very confident about this engine at all. At all. Well, you can see, look, I don't know if you, I'm sort of leaning on the wing, but you can see number 2 going down again as we speak. That's incredible. Look at it. Now, you're going to ask yourself a question. We've pressure tested the head, you'll see later, or I don't know how I'm going to edit this video together, but is there any more underlying problems with this engine? I mean, what's the bearings like? Let me have a quick look and see, while this is running, let me see what mileage is on this. $222,000 kilometres. Doesn't seem that much, does it? But look at number 2 now. It's romping ahead. Romping. Even the other 300 TDI block wasn't as bad as that. Now, I didn't do a compression test on this engine, principally because we couldn't get the injectors, the glow plugs out, so I could put my test tool in. But I think this gives a pretty good indication that this is not a happy engine. You know, like I mentioned to you before, that it doesn't fill you full of confidence when you buy a car that somebody gives you a head gasket to go with it. And you see, the thing is, I don't know what head was on it before. I don't know if it was a genuine head or another Chinese head. Hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to figure out what other people have done to things. I know what it'd do if it was my engine. I'd pull the whole bloody lot out and rebuild it. It's got some wicked repairs on. This engine's been out before, or the clutch has been out before. It's got some wicked bell housing bolts in there. I've never seen them sort of things done before. Oh, there's my hammer. I was looking for that. Yep. Look at that. Even though I've been rambling on for a couple of minutes, what time's it now? Oh, it's 1 minute past 10. And look at it. It's romping. It shouldn't go down that fast. Number 4 is pretty stable. Number 1 and 3 are sort of even Stevens. Let's leave this for a bit and we'll come back. Well, look at that. It is now 10:30. I got a bit tied up doing some paperwork, but look at that. Number 2 has gone completely. I wish I hung around a bit more. 1 and 3 are level pegging, and number 4, it just doesn't want to give up. It's hardly ever moved. So, looks like we have compression problems on number 2. That's interesting, isn't it, boys and girls? I don't know what to make of it, really. What would you think? Can you see all that? Can you zoom in? Let's have a little look inside. There's a bit better. Look. So, this is not a conclusive watertight test, if you pardon the pun, but there's more trouble to this than meets the eye, because it looks like we'll be getting excess crankcase pressure through that cylinder. Lord knows what the rest of it's like. Anyway, we shall continue with this merry test. I'll get back to my paperwork. It's now 1 hour since we started this test, and we can see 1 and 3. 3's getting the edge, it's getting down a little bit more, but number 4, it's just hanging in there like an old age pensioner with constipated on the toilet. It's just not gonna budge. So we can see there's a problem with this one here. But how much of a problem? Shall we put this on a time lapse and see what happens? In fact, I tell you what, forget time lapse. We'll just pour diesel back into the cylinder. Forget these other ones. But just look at this one, and I'll fill it back up again, and we'll time it, because I'll record it. I'll record it all, and we'll see how fast it's losing diesel through here. Pretty frightening, eh? Right, wait a minute. Got a bit of a fly in my diesel, but I don't think it really matters at this stage. I'm stopping the film now. Well, it's now 20 to 1. Number 3 has gone. Number 2's got a few splashes in it, but number 4, it's like a Japanese soldier in the middle of Borneo during World War II. He's not going to give up. So I don't know what's going on there, but this one I suspect is what they all should be like. We'll come back to this because this is really interesting. But this one is, well, it's given up. I don't know. You know, looking at it, the cylinders don't look nice and honed like they usually do. Has this got more miles on it than it's showing? We don't know. We'll come back. Well, here we are again. I neglected this a little bit, but it's now 3:45 in the afternoon. As you can see, first 3 cylinders, nothing. But that rear cylinder is hanging on there. Now, is it because it's clogged up with carbon? Well, I don't really care. But at least it's holding diesel, look. That's done remarkably well. This one, I think it was 26 minutes and it was gone. That's not good at all, is it, really? Yeah, let's see that. You can see the diesel in this back one. It's still there, look. See? So, I don't know. I'm going to have a word with the customer of this. I'm not happy with this engine at all. If this has got back pressure, we're going to have more problems. I don't know. I've got an awful lot of work to do to this thing. A lot more than I anticipated. There's oil everywhere, and like I say, if I box all this back up together again, even if I put a new head on, I've still got to worry about what's going on in here, these cylinders. There doesn't seem to be any scars in them, but they're marked, if you see what I mean. You see a piston, a cylinder wears pear-shaped. The thrust side is usually I think it's the cam side that's the thrust side. Oh, no, wait a minute, is it this side? Wait a minute, look, thrust side. I think this is the thrust side. I don't know. But anyway, I'll have to have a look at my book. But they wear like a pair, if you see in the cross section. And although they're nice and parallel at the top, there's a different story halfway down. I don't know. It's a big job to correct that though. A really big job. I don't know, a bit discouraged with this now. See what the customer says. That's what we always say, isn't it? Right, see you later. Just as a little PS, it's now 6 o'clock and that's still got diesel in it. All the rest have gone. Now, isn't that interesting? So, if we're going to take this to the machine shop and the customer decides to skim it, before we do any machining on anything, we should always pressure test it first. Now, these guys once upon a time did a magnaflux test on these. Well, it's not really good as a pressure test, because we're going to put 130 psi of compressed air into this. Now, we've done this before, we've done it a couple of times, and we've got to use this 10mm plate, thick rubber gasket that's made out of conveyor belt, and we're going to take this housing off here and put a blanking plate on the end, and then we're going to put it in some water and we're going to put some pressure in it. So that's going to be a bit boring setting it up. We've done it before, but if you want to look at the top somewhere, I don't know which side it is, and search for pressure testing TDI heads, you'll see it. Because the head gasket pattern is the same on series, and it's TDIs, they're all very much the same, so that's not too bad. So let's get this sorted out and then we'll come back. So here we are, they're all set up for a pressure test. I've got my bucket of water, my container, I've got the head in, everything is covered. We're going to put at least 130 pounds in this, which at 15 psi is almost 10 times more than water pressure should be. Let's do this. Watch me get soaking wet again. Make sure the valve is shut. There we go. That's alright. It's not cracked. I think. I don't know if you can see down. I don't know if you can see the gauge there. Where is it? It's there. So it's actually gone off the end of the gauge. Yeah, it's gone round again. But that isn't cracked. I can tell you that now. There is a little bubble escaping from here, but that is out of my gasket, I do believe. But it's not coming out the ports, it's not coming out of any heads, any parts of the head. So I believe that's going to be good. In fact, I know it's going to be good. Right, that filled in a few minutes, didn't it? But at least we're satisfied. If it has to go for machining, you're not machining a cracked head, and this is one of the things you should do first. I keep repeating. Alright, so that's just a quick little video. I should have stuck it onto the other bit. Never mind, you're clever enough to work it all out. See you later. Ta-da.